Statistics Malaysia, DOM, found that university students read an average of 10 articles per month. Really? Maybe I should put 10 pages. The population standard deviation is, what is it? 5. The distributions of articles read per month follows the normal distribution. Random samples of blah, blah, blah. Okay. So let's start with the point. Maybe I should put it here and then because I'm right hand. Okay. Okay, so tell me, the Department of Statistics found that university students read an average of 10 articles. What is this 10?
Population mean.
Population.
Okay, so how should we write it?
Mu.
To 10.
Mu 10.
Okay, so for your information in this chapter, normally the general statement is referring to your population mean, okay, your mu. Okay, the population standard deviation is 5. So what is this 5?
Sigma.
Sigma. Cool. So when you have the sigma, you have to use Z distribution. So you have to know that, keep that in mind. The distributions of articles read per month follows the normal distribution. That's fine. A random samples of 25. What is this 25?
Small n.
Small n. So now you know how to differentiate big N and small n. Okay. Capital N and small n. That's fine. Okay. Revealed that the mean number of articles read last month was 12. So what is this 12?
X bar.
X bar.
X bar.
X bar. Okay. At the 0.01 significance level.
Alpha.
Alpha. Okay. Okay, cool. This is your alpha. Can we conclude that IIUM students read more than the average number of articles? Okay, so this is hypothesis testing. So you're going to have a few steps, which is 6. So you have to remember the steps by heart because you will be seeing hypothesis testing for many other chapters. So this chapter is like the introductions of hypothesis testing. So if you find it easy, so the rest of your life will be easy. Okay. So make sure that you understand this chapter because this is just the beginning. Okay, it is not, even though the steps may look very long, but they are very, very short, very simple. So you have to remember the first one is you have to derive your hypothesis, H null and H1. Some of you may write HA, refers to alternative. HA or H1 and HA are the same thing. Okay, I can accept both. So what is your H1? Can we conclude that IIM students read more than the average number? So more than, right? So what is the average number? This is the average number. So
10.
mu is more than 10. So what is your H now?
Less than or equal.
Less or equals 10.
Yeah. So it's not that hard to write your H now if you have identified what is your H1. So here, just write the mu, and your H1 is bigger. So you have to write the opposite sign, which is smaller. And then you also have to include the equal sign. And then put 10. That's it. Some of you may be along the way because you were so in hurry. So you suddenly got mental block. Perhaps you couldn't think of the statistical words. So you can also write in terms of words. IIUM students read blah 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 more than the average numbers. So you can also write in terms of words. Both are accepted. But because we have learned statistics and you know what is mu, what is sigma, so it's maybe easier to write in terms of our sign. But words are also accepted. Second, you have to write your alpha. Alpha is given here 0.01. Okay, for this quiz, because it contains only 2 marks, so I didn't give you any marks for alpha. But in the test, all the steps will have their own marks. Okay, don't forget the alpha. Number 3, you have to write your test statistics. Okay, there are many types of test statistics. You have T, Z, F later on, and many other tests. Okay, in this case, what test should you use? Z or T?
Z.
Why?
Z. Because we have stigma.
Yes, because the sigma is given. That's why you have to use Z. So what is the formula? X bar minus mu over
Stigma.
sigma divided with square root of n.
N.
So when you have listed down all the information, so you can just plug it into the formula. If you didn't list them down, maybe it will be hard for you to find from the a long paragraph. So your x bar is 12 minus mu 10, and then sigma, what is the sigma? 5 divided with square root of n, and what is n? 25. So what will you get here?
0.08.
Huh?
Two.
What is it? 2. Okay, so I trust you on this answer, so it's 2 because I don't have calculator. Where's the calculator? I don't have the calculator with me, so 2, okay? Is it 2?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
So
madam.
Yes, yes.
number 4, what is the steps number 4?
Division rule.
Formulate. CV.
Okay, you can formulate the decision rule, so you can also put CV. Okay, so how to find the CV? You have to refer to
T table.
T table. Remember, even though here, what is it? Here you are using Z statistics. For the CV, you will always refer to T table. Okay, now, so what is the sigma, the alpha 0.01? So tell me how to find the CV. How to find the CV?
You can look
Whether it
low
is one tail.
level of significance, yeah,
Okay,
or
so you have to,
two tail.
okay. So you have to look at the level of significance, whether it is one tail or two tail. So in our case, what is it? One tail or two tail?
One.
One
One.
tail.
Okay. So if you have a bigger or smaller, it refers to one tail. If you have equals, what else? Smaller or equals, bigger or equals, this is like two tail. Okay, so you have to refer to the H1. What is the sign? Okay, in this case, it is one tail. So next we have one tail. So you have two table here, the level of significance for one tail, and then here level of significance for one tail. So how to choose?
Degree of frequency.
Degree of freedom, right?
Freedom.
Degree of freedom. So how to look at it? Which number? There are so many degree of freedoms here.
N
N
minus
minus
1.
1.
Is it
24.
Z?
Infinity.
Infinity.
Infinity. Okay, I will tell you later on. So here, if you have so many ends, right? This is the degree of freedoms. Okay, you have to look at to the degree of freedoms infinity.
Infinity.
Okay, infinity. This is the infinity. So you have the second page. So the alpha just now is what? 0.05, right? Is it? 0.01. 0.01. Okay, this is one tail. Remember, if you look at different alpha, you will get different value because this is 0.01 for one tail. For the two tail, 0.01 is somewhere here. So you're going to have two different values. So make sure that you look at one tail and alpha 0.01. And then scroll down, go to infinity. What do you get? 2.326. Remember, 2.326. Okay. So should we put plus or minus here?
Plus.
Plus.
Okay, it is just plus because the signs of the CV will follow the signs of your H1. If let's say your H1 is bigger, mean it's plus. If your H1 is smaller, then your CV will become negative, will carry the negative sign. Okay, why? Let me go back to the infinity. Why should we go to infinity? Why not n minus 1? Your n is, what is your n? N is 25 minus 1, 24. Why shouldn't we go to 24? Why should go to infinity? Anyone?
Because
Because
we use the distribution.
yes, because you use Z distribution. If you are using Z, okay, so we assume that we know the sigma, right? The population standard deviation. We assume that we know the population mean. We assume that we know the population number. So we are dealing with such a very large number. So how many? How many n? We don't know. It is very large. So because we don't know, it is very large. So you use infinity. Okay. So remember next time if you use Z, your degree of freedom should be infinity because we are dealing with, I don't know, a very, very, very big number. So go to infinity straight away. Okay. So your CV is this one. So next steps, maybe you want to draw a diagram. Okay. So where is this CV? On the left side, on the right side?
Right.
Right. This is positive. So 2.326. And then where is this your test statistics? Inside or outside the rejection region?
Inside.
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 Outside.
Outside.
Okay, so 2.3 and then 2.45 until 3 and 10, 10 and 10. This is 2. 2 means 2.0. So it should be outside, perhaps somewhere here. This is your Z, which is equals to 2.02. Okay, so it is outside the rejection region. So the next steps 5, you have to make a decision. So what will you say? Reject or do not reject the hash now?
Do not reject.
Do not reject the rationale.
Do not reject.
Do not reject the hash now because it is outside the rejection region, right? If it is inside, then you have to reject straight away. And then, is that all? You have
No.
another step.
Interpret.
Yes, you have to interpret your result because when you said do not reject hash now. So what does it mean? You have to interpret. You have to make sure that the layman should understand our test. So we have to somehow give them the interpretation. So if you cannot reject this, what will you say? We should say we fail
To prove.
to show or to prove. This is to show or to prove that the mu is bigger than 10. We fail to prove our hypothesis. This is our hypothesis. This is the general claim. We wanted to prove that the mu should be bigger than 10, but we failed to show it. Okay, we failed to show it. If let's say we reject the hash null, then we are confident. We are saying that, well, the mean is more than 10, but now we failed to prove it. Okay, that's it. Okay, any question before I move to the next one? Is it clear?
Medium. Can you show which part we get mark?
Oh, sorry. Thank you for that. Okay. So normally this will all the steps will have some marks, but now because it is just 2 marks. Okay. So hypothesis will give you, let me, where is it? 0.5, and then test statistic will give you 0.5, and then the CV will also give you 0.5, and then your interpretation will give you 0.5. Okay. Because if you couldn't interpret well, means that you don't understand the whole steps. So these are all the marks that when you get it correct, then you will get all the 2 marks. Okay, but along the way, if because I have marked the previous section, they got right for their hypothesis, the first steps, and then for the test statistic, they couldn't find it right, so they didn't get any marks. But somehow the CV is correct and the interpretation is also correct, then they will get some marks, like 1.5 out of 2. So it depends on your steps. Okay, so all the steps will give you some marks. This is the beauty, this is the good of chapter hypothesis chapter, because all the steps will give you some marks. Even if you couldn't answer all, you couldn't compute your test statistic, or you couldn't find your CV, but along the way you can get some marks. Okay, out of the steps. Okay, anything else before we move to the next question? No. Okay, so I'm assuming that silence means clear. Okay, so a recent article, well, this question is not direct, so I'll think about your performance. Maybe you deserve some bonus point. Okay, a recent article in the New Straits Times reported that the mean amount of leisure time per week for university students is 40 hours. So what is this 40 hours? Tell me.
Mayun.
Okay, so mu 40 hours. You think that this number is incorrect? Well, because this is just a general claim, right? So remember, mu in hypothesis is just like general claim. Even though they didn't put here the mean, they will say that the people said this is the value. So it is the mu. It is just anyone's claim. You think that this number is incorrect and you decide to conduct your own test. Well, because you have learned statistics, so you can actually simply perform your test in the random samples of 60 students. So what is this?
10.
And you find that the mean is what? Oh, I didn't put this one. 37.8. What is this 37.8?
X bar.
X bar.
This is your X bar. You have conducted your own survey or your own test. And the standard deviation is 12.2. So what is this 12.2?
S.
S. So standard deviation here is not your sigma, it is your sample standard deviation because it is mentioned after you have conducted your own test and then you have selected your sample. So this is your sample standard deviation. Remember that because if you put sigma, you're going to use z test, but here you have s. So basically you are using t test. Okay. And using, okay, so that is your alpha, 0.05. Can you conclude that the mean, can you conclude that the information in the articles is not true? Okay, so how to somehow formulate, how to derive your hypothesis? Anyone want to try? What should we write here? Can you conclude that the information in the articles is not true? The article says this, 40, but you found this. What is your hypothesis? Tell me. H1 is your own hypothesis. H1 is your own hypothesis, remember.
37.8.
Huh?
Not
Mu
equal
is
to
less than
40.
40.
Okay, so you will say not equal than 40. Okay, so that is the bonus point for those who said not equal. But actually, if you are looking here, as I mentioned to you, H1 is your own hypothesis. The H0 is just the general one, right? So your hypothesis, you are saying that, okay, the general one, the mu is 40, but you are saying that the mu is not 40, right? It's lesser than 40. It's 37. So basically the correct answer, the mu is less than 40. Not 40. It shouldn't be 40. It should be less because you think you have computed it and you got less than 40. That is your own hypothesis, which is less than 40. But some of you, because you think that this is not true, not equal, or maybe you think that, well, 37 is not equals to 40, not equal, well, that's why I said it is indirect. You may put not equal, but the correct one is less than 40. 37 is less than 40. Okay? So that is the bonus point. It should be less. That's what I'm trying to say. So maybe in the test, I would love to use this. So it will not be a bonus anymore because I have mentioned it here. So if this is less, your what is it here? Should be
More equal.
Bigger.
more and equals than 40. And second, you're going to have your alpha, which is given there, 0.05. I always tell my students, don't forget to write alpha. Because in your test, alpha is like a bonus point. You didn't have to think about it. You didn't even have to compute it. It is there. Just write it there. It will give you half marks. So it's such a waste if you didn't put it there. Because it is in the stat. Number 3 is your test statistics, right? I put it here, but in your, if you want to answer, you don't really have to write test statistic, just go straight away. What is the test? Should we use Z or T?
T,
T.
T.
Why?
because we have S.
Because your
Sample.
yes, because your sigma or population standard deviation is not given. Okay, so because the sigma is unknown or not given, so you have to use T. So what is the formula of T? The same thing, x bar minus mu over sigma. This is not sigma. What is it?
S.
Okay, S over square root of n. So what is your x bar? This is your own computed sample,
That's
means
7.8.
37.8 minus mu. What is the mu?
40.
40. And then, what is the S? 12.2
12.2.
divided with square root of, what is your N? Where is that?
60.
60. So it's good that if you have listed them down so that you can just plug in into that. So what will you get out of this working?
Minus 1.397.
Oh, okay. I don't have space. Where is my cursor, please? 1.397. Is it correct, everyone?
Yes, madam.
Okay, okay. Because somehow I discovered that sometimes you have all the right working. Yeah?
I got bala. Yes.
Yes. Should I look at the answer first? Number one, number two, or the right? Ah, 1.4.
Yes, 1.4.
Okay, doesn't matter. Well, I think because maybe they round it up. They round it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's fine. It's fine. You can give me 4 decimal point. As I mentioned to you, the larger the decimal point is more accurate. So 1.39 blah 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 is fine. So 1.4 they round it up is fine. So I will just take the more accurate one. And then what else? Next step number 4, you have to write your CV, right? So
Yes.
now how should we do? So let me go to the T table, because if I didn't stress, I mean, if I didn't emphasize on it, so when you go to the next chapter, you will forget how to find the CV, how to write the hypothesis. So it's better to go slowly in this chapter. So how to find the CV? Go to Z
T
table or
table.
T table? T table.
T table.
And then I am in the T table. What should I do? Tell me.
Log level of significance if it is 1 or 2 tail test.
Okay, level of significance, 1 or 2 tail. Is it 1 or 2 tail here?
No, it is 1 tail.
1 tail because it is less. And then look at the alpha. So 1 tail test, alpha 0.05. So 1 tail, 0.05, right? And then what should I do? There are so many info here. There are so many numbers here. There are so
Find
many.
the DF.
DF. Okay, yes. Find the DF. So now, if you are using what we call T distribution, then you can apply your DF, which is n minus 1. What is your n? 60, right? 60 minus 1, so your DF should be 59. So 59, so level of significance 1 tail test. The alpha is 0.05, so the DF is 59. Let me scroll down. Where is it? 59, which is 1.671. So 1.671. Is that all for CV? Is that all?
Minus.
Yes, you have to draw a diagram. Okay. So before you draw a
How about
diagram,
if I didn't make a diagram? Is that okay?
it's fine. It's fine. As long as you know where is the area. So the diagram just to help you to show which area are they inside the rejection region or outside the rejection region. That's fine. Totally fine. Okay. But before you draw a diagram, if you want to, you have to make sure that what is the signs of your CV? Is it positive? Is it really positive? Because the table will always give positive number. So what you can do, you have to refer to your H1. So this is less. So your CV is positive or negative?
Negative.
It should contain negative sign. So remember, before you draw a diagram or before you want to proceed with the next level, check the signs of your CV, because many students will forget this and then later on you will regret. So CV is negative 1.671. Where is this? Your T value 1.39. Is it inside or outside? Rejection region.
Outside.
Outside. Yes, cool. So this is your T value. It is outside rejection region. So what is your decision? Tell me. Reject
Do
or
not
do not
reject the H9.
Reject. Fail
reject
to
or
reject. Do not reject.
if
Do
you
not
want to
reject.
okay, if you want to reject, it should be inside the rejection region. Now it is outside. So your decision is do not reject. What? H1 or H0?
H0.
H0. So now is the interpretation part. So how should you interpret? You cannot reject this. What should you do?
We fail
We said to show that
To
to
show
prove both
that
levels.
or to prove that the mu is actually less than 40. Okay, that's it. Easy peasy. Any question regarding this?
Only it was a tricky.
Yeah, I know. As I mentioned to you, if you wrote mu not equals to 40 and then you will have two tail, I will accept that. But just to tell you that this is the correct answer. This is
I've
the
taken them.
yeah. So for those who use two tail, because this is I mean not a straightforward one, so I'll consider that for this quiz. But next time for the other quizzes for the test, it shouldn't be bonus point anymore. Okay. So anything you wanna ask before I share the question for the other sections? Any question? So far so good.
Madam,
Madam.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry.
Madam, what if we forget to follow the sequence of the process? I mean, for instance, we find the CV first before we compute the test statistic.
Doesn't matter as long as you have the somehow the point, because in the textbook after point what they call step number 1, they will put CV, right? So reject hash nut if this is less or bigger than whatever, and then they put the CV value. That's fine as long as I can see the point. Well, I will consider that. But the disadvantage of didn't follow the steps means that sometimes you may along the way forget that, oh, you forgot to put the alpha. You computed the CV and then you come up with a decision, but then you forget to interpret. So this is very common because they said, madam, as long as my point is there, so I should get marked. Yes, you should get marked as long as the points are there. But if let's say you didn't organize carefully, if let's say you have the steps, you know that in hypothesis you have 6 steps. So step 1, this one, step 2. So you will not forget, you will not miss out any point. So everything will be clear. But if let's say you didn't organize carefully, you just put everything, you may forget normally the alpha, and secondly to interpret. You will just say do not reject, that's it. You forget to explain, to conclude. So that is the disadvantage. But as long as everything is there, even though you don't follow the sequence, I will consider that. And normally if you have like listed all the 6 steps, it's easy for me to see your point. If let's say you somehow your point are scattered around, so maybe I may overlook at your point. That is the disadvantage. I may overlook because I'm checking, like I'm marking like many papers. Like in the quiz is fine because just one question, but in the test, can you imagine there are so many people and everyone is like putting everything there. So I have to really look at where is the point. So I may overlook at that. Okay, so that is just the disadvantage. Okay, anything else? Oh, I also wanted to share the question from the morning section. They asked me, how about if let's say we are so, not really we are so lazy, we don't want to compute the test statistics. We don't want to compute the T, we don't want to compute the Z, for example. We want to use the P value. Will that be fine? Because test statistics and p-value will give us the same conclusion, means that whether you have to reject or do not reject. So can we just use the p-value? It's fine, totally fine, because these two tools are the mechanism that we use to decide whether we want to reject or not to reject. But so if let's say, where is the question? If let's say you have this kind of question, so you are free to use to compute test statistics or using p-value. But if let's say the question asks specifically compute the p-value, then you have to compute the p-value. If let's say the question just give you the freedoms and you can just use whatever. Okay, so it depends. Anything else before we move to the morning's question? No? Is it clear? Remember, this is the introduction. If you don't understand them, if you cannot differentiate what is T distribution, what is Z distribution, you will be in trouble in many other chapters. Are they clear to you? Yes or no?
Yes, madam.
Okay, hopefully so. Okay, next. Now it's 12:19. We still have plenty of time, right? So let me just share you the question from the morning. What is this? This is your class, isn't it? Oh my god. Let me see. Section. So let me just close yours. Section 1. Let's see how their question look like. Okay, so let's answer this together, okay? So the waiting time for students at the kuliah general offices means that you have so many kuliah, right? How many? You have engineering, architecture, economics, what else? What else do we have? IRKHS.
No.
Oh, yes, our neighbor. So you have a few kuliah. Follows a normal distribution with a population standard deviation. So it is clearly mentioned that you have what? You have the sigma. What is the sigma? 1 minute. At the kuliah of economics. Now we want to focus just the kuliah of economics. The quality assurance department sampled 50 students. What is this 50? This is your N. And found that the mean waiting time. What is this mean? Mu or X bar?
X bar, madam.
Okay, yeah, it is X bar. Why? Because it's already mentioned that the quality assurance department sampled. So after that works, everything will be sample mean, sample standard deviation, everything is sample. So sample 50, which is N, and found that the mean, so this is sample mean, which is X bar. What is it? 2.75 at the 0.05. This is your alpha, 0.05. Significance level, can we conclude that the mean waiting time? So this is like the general claim, the mu, right? The mean waiting time is less than 3. So 3. So the same thing, you have the first step, H now, H1. So what is your H1? Tell me please. The mu?
Less.
Less.
It is less, right? It is mentioned in the question, less than 3. It is very direct, very direct. So less than 3. So now mu should be the opposite, bigger or equal than 3. So second, your alpha, which is 0.05, and then 3. What kind of test? Should we use Z or T?
Z.
You have the sigma, so you have to use Z, which is, what is it? X bar minus mu over sigma square root of N. What is your X bar? 2.75. I'll go a bit fast because we have learned this. The mu, what is the mu? Minus 3 over what? Over what? Sigma. What is your sigma? 1 divided with N. What is N? 50. So can you compute what is the value here? Where is my calculator? Can you compute what is the value here? Anyone? Anyone? My calculator is in my room. So can you compute this?
Negative 1.76.
Negative 1.76. Okay. So this is your Z, and the next step is number 4, your CV. So how to find the CV? Let's find it together. So this is your T table, right? Okay. So we are using Z, isn't it? Where is the Z? We are using the Z because we have the sigma. So you have to decide whether it is one tail or two tail. So this is the examples of one tail, right? So the alpha is 0.05. So now we have significance level one tail, alpha 0.05. What is the degree of freedom for the Z?
Infinity.
Infinity.
Infinity. So you have to go down, scroll down until infinity. Oh, okay, before that, is one tail 0.05. Scroll down is 1.645. Please don't round it up because this is the exact value. Some of you write 1.65. Please take the whole things, right? Because even the table didn't round it up. 1.645. So you put 1.645. Remember, before you want to draw a diagram, what is the signs of your CV? Is it positive? Check your H1. This is less. So it should contain negative. So you can just write your diagram if you want to. So this is your negative 1.645. So where is this? The Z value. Is it inside or outside?
Inside.
It should be inside, right? Some of them write outside because they see this is 1.6 and then next 1.7. It should be inside. Okay, this is your Z. Okay, next, number 5. What is your decision?
Reject the H0.
Yes, reject the H now. Okay, so you have to interpret, remember? Interpret. What is your interpretation? If you reject this, you will say the mu is actually less than 3. That's it. That's it. Easy peasy. Any question? No, the same thing. So let's look at the other one. They are actually the same thing. So when you get used to see so many questions, you will understand them. Okay, so the next chapter will be easier. So let me delete this first. So okay, so by now you should understand them, how to write this everything. According to departments of statistics, 3.13 households reside in the typical Malaysian household. So what is this 3.13? Is it
New.
okay? Is it new? Is it sigma? Is it n? Is it what? It is not mentioned there. Okay, even though some of you can spot this should be mu. This should be mu. But it is for some other students, they may not be clear on this. So let's assume that I'm not clear. I don't know what is this. Let's just keep this KIV, keep this in view. Okay, a samples of 25. So you have n equals to 25. Household in Gombak showed that the mean number, so it is a sample. So the mean should be sample mean of residents per household was 2.86. So this is sample mean, clearly mentioned 2.86. Standard deviation, is it sigma or S?
S.
S, because you have conducted a sample, a survey. So the S is 1.2, 1.2. Then at the 0.05, so this is your alpha. Is it reasonable to conclude that the mean number of residents in Gombak household is less than 3.13? So this is the general claim, and this is the mean. So you already have simple sample mean. So this another mean should be your population mean, or we can say the general claim, or mu, 3.13. So given all this information, I believe that you should know how to write the steps and compute them. Okay, is it fine? Do you want me to show all the steps again?
No need.
They are the same thing, right? They are the same. If you have understood, then you should be like the same thing. Okay, so that's why in statistics or math, if you do more exercises, you will spot straight away, oh, this is this one, this is n, this is x bar. You should know by heart, like, because you used to practice a lot. But if you didn't practice at all, or you have insufficient practice, so you may find it hard. Okay, So I think that's all. Let me uh, stop the recording. Stop recording.